I went from being an associate director to a director, and now I'm a vice president of human resources. And I give Rollins a lot of credit for that.
Felt like I was plateaued a little bit in my current role. I had about 3 to 5 years under my belt in the HR field already, and I felt like I needed more to be able to grow professionally.
Something that really drew me to Rollins was the small in-person cohorts where you got to learn from different levels of experience, both in and out of HR.
One of the advantages of having a small cohort and a small class is that you get a chance to get to know them, and they actually take an interest in getting to know you as a person. So I really like that. I appreciated that.
What I love the most about our professors is the industry experience that they had. They could back up the book knowledge with practical knowledge and give you those tips and pointers to bring back to your organization and further develop your own career.
I was able to fit this program into my life because I was a working mom, and this program offers night classes that I was able to fit my busy schedule.
And I think after the first semester, I realized I can actually do this. This is very flexible, and I really liked the ability to continue to excel in my career that I was building, working Monday through Friday, leaving work at 5, and then coming at Rollins to class at 6 o'clock. It was really a good balance for me.
But I walked away really learning and understanding and applying leadership, and that's important today in HR.